Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We are previewing the main card of UFC 178 right now with Nick Kalikas, MMA odds maker and consultant for numerous sports books. His website is MMAoddsbreaker.com. And joining us on the phone is Reed Kuhn, author of the book Fightnomics, and his website is Fightnomics.com. All right, guys, tricky fight here. Yoel Romero and Tim Kennedy. Romero currently minus 145 at 5 dimes, Kennedy plus 125 on the other side. And, you know, Romero, a very aggressive fighter. He's 37 years old, but relatively new to the sport. He's very aggressive, which can be a benefit. It can also lead to mistakes. I feel a little uncertain about this one. Reed Kuhn from Fightnomics.com. What light can you shed on these lines?
Well, there is some uncertainty around Yoel Romero. Not a huge amount of data, but
right.
It's weird. You know, we've got an Olympic credentialed wrestler, and he's come in and he has not used his wrestling, and he's actually been taken down a few times. So the key here is the striking is kind of a wash. You know, Kennedy, Romero is maybe more powerful and dangerous with one-punch power, but he's also more susceptible. He has been dropped twice. He's the older fighter, 37 years old. That's not a good thing. So it's kind of a wash. It's back and forth. It's hard to predict, but I think the grappling is going to be the key to this fight. I think Kennedy will be willing to wrestle the Olympic wrestler, and Kennedy is the one his wrestling has translated into the cage much more effectively than Romero's. Mm-hmm. Kennedy is a guy who can take the back, get mounts. He's dangerous with submissions. He can also finish people with strikes on the ground. So I think Kennedy will find a way to get this to the floor, and once he's there, he's going to look like the more dangerous fighter. So the conditioning also favors Kennedy, definitely. I think if this were a 5-rounder, it would be a no-brainer. But the odds say Kennedy is the underdog here, and I'm calling for an upset.
Yeah, I mean, Kennedy's stand-up is, I guess we would say, average at best, right? And Romero has, 3 wins by knockout. So do you think that maybe if Romero, if you were going to bet on Romero, you'd take him by knockout only?
Yeah, that's probably the case. If he catches anyone with that kind of power, he's probably going to put someone away. But Kennedy has never been knocked out. His only stoppage was a doctor stoppage due to a cut, and he's never been stopped otherwise. So he should be able to take a punch. He is getting older. I wouldn't want him to do that for too long. But both these guys operate at a very slow pace when they're on their feet. This is the opposite of Poirier versus McGregor. They're going to be throwing strikes left and right. These guys are very measured. They do not throw a lot of volume. There's going to be a lot of feeling out process. It may take a while to develop, and really there's going to be a lot of positioning. You know, Kennedy is going to be trying to line up how to get that takedown, because he probably doesn't want to just trade leather with a guy like Romero unless it's to tire him out. You know, lots of clinching and to wear Romero down so that maybe he catches him later on, because Kennedy has been in with good strikers before. Rafael Natal's a good striker. Michael Bisping is great too. But when you have the threat of that takedown, it makes defending punches also more difficult.
For sure. Nick Kalikas, where'd you open this line? I could see Tim Kennedy being opened as a favorite.
And he was minus 130.
Okay.
And so the public actually all over Romero in this spot. Not much respect for Tim Kennedy. It's another tough fight. I mean, we were talking about, again, the Cerrone Alvarez fight. I mean, this is another one of those head scratchers that I could realistically see playing out either way. Romero, of course, has the stand-up advantage, no doubt about it. Like you guys said, I think you guys nailed it across the board so far with your breakdowns from Reed and you, actually. Because I think on the feet, you got to give the significant advantage to Romero. I think Tim Kennedy is basically an average striker at best, but he does have some power to go along with it, and he's got a good fight IQ, so that's what you got to respect in him. But he's not a huge threat on the feet. Again, he's capable of landing that knockout, but other than that, he doesn't throw a lot, like Reed said as well, and he's kind of more methodical about going about his striking. But what's underrated here, and what he's been able to do more times than not, is get that takedown. I mean, and I think Reed nailed it there as well. Romero doesn't, for being an Olympic caliber wrestler, he does not use his ground game as much as we all would think. And at the same time, Tim Kennedy is able to handle almost everybody that he's in the cage with and get him to the ground. And his ground game, as far as jiu-jitsu skill and just a complete ground fighting, is amazing. I mean, that's the best attribute in his game, and that's what actually has gotten Tim Kennedy to this point. I mean, look at his fight against Michael Bisping. Chael Sonnen had a more difficult time getting and controlling Bisping to the floor than Tim Kennedy did. So that says a lot, because most of us know that Sonnen's a tremendous wrestler. So Tim Kennedy is on that level, and I think Tim Kennedy can get top position. And once he does get top position, even though Romero's a very capable grappler in his own right, he's going to have a disadvantage on the ground against Tim Kennedy. I think Romero's best advantage is keeping it upright. He's more dangerous. He throws unorthodox, and he has a ton of power. So in that aspect, I think he can do damage on the feet. and he's a little bit more active, I think, than Tim Kennedy, but overall, from top to bottom, I think it's Tim Kennedy's fight to win or lose. If he fights smart, it is only a 3-round fight. So I think both these guys are going to have enough left. I mean, we mentioned earlier that Romero's 37 years old now. I believe Tim Kennedy's 34, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So both of them are getting up there in age a little bit too. But man, I'm expecting Romero just like, I guess, hit that decline spot anytime. But the guy's actually looked better and better in each fight. I mean, against Brad Tavares is not a joke. Yeah. And I mean, look at his performance. Romero, to me, that was the best performance that I've ever seen from him. So he's actually improving. I mean, he's getting great training with the American Top Team. The guy keeps on getting better and better. So you almost have to throw age out the window, for now at least, for the time being with Romero. And it's hard to say that, but it's true. I mean, the guys look better with each fight. Tim Kennedy, again, it's hard to bet against that guy, though, because what he's capable of doing. So I actually think it is dog or pass. I agree with Reed. I think at the current value, it would be on Tim Kennedy here.
And it sounds like, so the books are going to be mostly split, or they're going to actually need Kennedy, you think?
Well, I think we'll get some action back on Kennedy again. I think we'll see some sharp action coming back in on Kennedy. At this point, it's hard not to. I mean, Kennedy is a dog. Again, arguably he should be the slight favorite here. But it is going to be an interesting fight either way. But I think we will see a tremendous amount of two-way action. But Romero's hype, he always seems to get bet on a little bit more so than his opponents. So I think that could be the case here as well. So I think we will probably need Tim Kennedy, even if we do see some sharp or some heavy action coming back in on Kennedy. I still think the books are probably going to need him to come through here.
Awesome analysis. As always, guys, thanks.
The SBR Network offers free sports picks and game breakdowns, big money free betting contests year-round, a real-time Vegas-style odds monitoring service, and much more. So come see for yourself. To stay updated on SBR news and promotions, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+, and do be sure to subscribe to the Sportsbook Review YouTube channel to catch all our daily sports shows.